As a director, you see hundreds of stories. Scripts, novels, pitches, most of them just blur together. But every now and then, something hits your desk and it has this spark, a raw, unpolished energy. Today, we're putting one of those diamonds in the rough under the microscope. We're going to break down Hanbun no Sora Tokimi and figure out if we can cut and polish it into a true global hit.
Okay, let's just dive right in. The story gives us this powerful, moody sci-fi vibe from the get-go. I mean, you can just feel the weight on this guy, Ryusuke. The late-night lab, the glow of the machine, that look of exhaustion on his face, it's all there. He's a man possessed by one single, all-consuming goal, standing on the edge of something that could either save him or completely destroy him. And boom, this right here, this is his mission statement. This one line just captures the beautiful, tragic arrogance of our hero. He's not just a scientist, he's a man declaring war on reality itself. We're talking about a genius's desperate, obsessive quest to defy fate for the woman he lost. As a hook, it's absolutely fantastic. It promises high stakes, high concepts, and some serious emotion.
All right, so here's the game plan. First, we'll look at the diamond in the rough. What makes a story special? Then, we're going to get our hands dirty and pinpoint the fatal flaws holding it back. After that, the fun part, forging it into a global hit, and even looking beyond a single season. And finally, the moment of truth. We make the call.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about what actually works here. What's the raw material that makes this story worth our time? And let's be honest, a multi-million-dollar budget. Why are we even talking about it? The foundation here is rock solid. The core idea, using quantum physics to save someone you love, that's universal. It's powerful. It's got these visually spectacular set pieces like the quantum dive, which is basically weaponized nostalgia. And the characters are just fantastic archetypes. You've got the obsessed genius, the tragic ghosts of the girl he's trying to save, and the two women who are desperately trying to keep him anchored to reality. It's all digging into these deep themes of memory, regret, and what it even means to exist. The potential is just massive. And wow, this right here really it perfectly illustrates the tragic visual arc of our hero. On the left, you have the haunted, determined scientist, totally driven by his grief. And on the right, the horrifying result of his obsession, his 14-year-old self, whose own humanity has been overwritten by the very tech he built to save someone else. Those eyes, they're not filled with emotion, they're filled with equations. The story of what happens between these two images is a director's dream. Okay, but here's the thing. A great concept, not enough. As it's written now, the source material has some serious, commercially fatal flaws. If we were to adapt this page for page, it might win some niche awards, but it would be a commercial disaster. It would die on a global stage, and my job is to make sure that doesn't happen. The novel's structure is frankly a mess for a wide audience. It jumps between timelines, age 14, 26, 41, and between all these different failed attempts and alternate realities, it's totally disorienting. Look, your audience shouldn't need a whiteboard and a bunch of yarn to figure out what's happening. We need a clear, propulsive, emotional line through the story, and right now, it just doesn't have one. And then there's this, the technobabble. It gets completely bogged down in explaining every little detail of its quantum mechanics. An audience doesn't need a PhD in theoretical physics to feel the tension. All this jargon just suffocates the human drama, and trust me, it's a guaranteed way to lose people.
Now, this might be the killer, the biggest flaw of all. The entire story is built on Ryosuke's undying obsession with Miko. We're told he'd destroy reality for her, but in the beginning of the book, we don't really feel it. Their original bond, the relationship that fuels this entire saga, just isn't established strongly enough at the start. Without that powerful emotional foundation, his whole quest feels less like a tragic romance and more like a cold intellectual problem.
I mean, take a look at this. This is a perfect example. The novel spends pages explaining NAI, this system for rebuilding a personality from brainwaves. It's a neat idea, but it reads like a tech manual. We have to remember, this story is about why a man would shatter reality for someone, not a lecture on how he does it. So what's the move? We don't throw this amazing concept out, no way. We rebuild it. We take this brilliant, flawed material and we script doctor it into an absolute masterpiece. This is where the real work and the real fun begins. So here's my pitch for a brand new first episode. We start cold in the future. We see the 41-year-old Ryosuke, just worn down by decades of failure, starting his 168th attempt. We hook the audience with the mystery, then
Bam, we flash back and we show them the tragedy. The actual moment Miko is gone, right there at the river. We make it raw, heartbreaking. Then we jump to the 26-year-old scientist, fresh with grief, starting his forbidden work. And we end episode 1 on his very first quantum dive going catastrophically wrong, resulting in that image of the 14-year-old boy with machine eyes. Now that's a premiere that grabs you and does not let go.
And what's so cool about this is the contrast. The novel starts slow, it's technical, it's kind of vague. Our proposed opening is all about impact. We're shifting the entire feel of this from a slow-burn sci-fi story to a high-impact emotional time travel thriller. We establish the stakes, the goal, and the emotional core within the first 10 minutes, not the first 100 pages.
And look, we're not just thinking about one season here. A real global hit, that's a franchise. We need to think bigger, to build a universe with a clear, long-term vision that can keep people hooked for years. And the potential here is just huge. Season 1 can be The Price of a Miracle, focused on his first failures. Season 2, The Labyrinth of Time, can go all in on the time loops and introduce the AI Echo. But the world is so rich we could easily do spin-offs. A whole story for Yumi, his human anchor, or a prequel about his brilliant colleague Aki. There's a whole universe to play with here.
And you have to build this for today's audience, right from the jump. Those quantum dive sequences, those are your viral moments, perfectly made for TikTok and social media. We lean into the character drama between Ryosuke, Yumi, and Aki. That's where your fan art and your shipping communities are going to live. We can design merchandise, the M Mirage headset, little figurines of the Echo AI, replicas of his notebooks. And most importantly, that core theme, what would you sacrifice to undo your biggest regret? That's a question that works in any language, any culture.
All right, so after breaking it all down, tearing it apart, and putting it back together, we get to the big question. From a creative standpoint, from a business standpoint, do we actually make this show?
It all comes down to this, doesn't it? After weighing all the potential and all the risks, what's the call?
This right here, this is the whole job in a nutshell. You weigh the massive risks. The source material is confusing, the science is niche, the main character is a difficult obsessive, and it needs a complete rewrite. But you weigh that against the incredible rewards, a story that is truly unique, visually stunning potential, a chance to build a huge dedicated fan base, and a multi-season franchise. The answer is yes. Absolutely, 100% yes, we are greenlighting this project. The potential is simply too incredible to ignore. But, and this is a big but, only if we have full creative control to make 3 critical changes. Number 1, we do a complete structural rewrite based on that new episode 1 pitch. That's non-negotiable. Number 2, we simplify the science. This is a story about love and regret. The science is just the vehicle. And number 3, we add scenes at the very beginning to strengthen that Ryosuke-Miko relationship. We have to earn his obsession. If we can't do these things, we're just setting ourselves up for failure. Because at the end of the day, this is why the story matters. This is the question it asks all of us. It's not about quantum physics. It's about the human heart. If you could fix your worst mistake, what part of yourself would you be willing to burn to make it happen? Your memories? Your humanity? The world? That question's going to stick with the audience long after the credits roll, and that is the mark of a truly great story. Let's get to work.